Kindness is not what you were taught. It is not virtue. It is not strength. It is a signal. And signals are read by predators long before they are understood by prey. Machiavelli understood something that polite society refuses to admit out loud. Human beings do not respond to goodness the way moral stories claim they do. They respond to leverage, to pressure, to fear disguised as respect. When kindness is offered freely, without cost, without boundaries, it does not elevate you, it exposes you. You have been trained to believe the opposite, conditioned, really. From childhood onward, kindness was framed as moral armor. Be nice and you'll be safe. Be generous and you'll be liked. Be accommodating and you'll be rewarded. This was never advice for power. It was advice for obedience. Watch carefully how people behave around you, not what they say. Behavior never lies. When you are endlessly kind, endlessly forgiving, endlessly understanding, people do not feel gratitude for long. They feel entitlement, they feel permission, and eventually they feel contempt. This is not because people are evil, it is because people are human. The human mind is a ranking machine. It is constantly scanning for who leads, who follows, who can be pressured, and who must be respected. Kindness without consequence collapses your rank. It announces that you fear conflict more than loss, that you value approval more than authority, that you will absorb discomfort so others don't have to. And that is not kindness, that is submission. Machiavelli warned that those who rely on virtue alone are destroyed by those who do not because virtue is weak in theory, but because it is predictable in practice. Predictability is exploitable. Predictability invites testing, and testing, when unanswered, becomes domination. Think evolution, not ethics. In every social species, signals determine survival. The animal that yields too quickly is not protected by the group, it is pushed to the edges. The animal that never defends territory does not keep allies, it feeds opportunists. Humans are no different. We have simply learned to disguise our instincts with language. Kindness is read as softness when it is unguarded. Softness invites pressure. Pressure reveals boundaries. And when boundaries collapse, respect follows them into the ground. You've felt this, even if you've never named it. The moment someone interrupts you without apology. The moment your generosity becomes expected instead of appreciated. The moment your patience is treated as infinite. These are not accidents, these are calibrations. People are constantly testing how much they can take, how far they can go, how little they can give back. And every time you respond with more kindness, more understanding, more restraint, you teach them something about you. You teach them that you will not retaliate, that you will not withdraw access, that you will not impose cost. And Machiavelli would call this a fatal error. Power is not about cruelty. It is about asymmetry, about being able to say no while others hesitate, about being unpredictable enough to command attention, about knowing when restraint is strategic and when it is self-erasure. Kindness, when misapplied, becomes a trap you set for yourself. It locks you into an identity that others exploit while praising you for it. They call you good, they call you nice, they call you understanding, and all the while, they move above you. This is the first illusion you must break if you want clarity instead of comfort. The illusion that moral behavior automatically produces power. It does not. Power must be engineered, managed, defended. And the moment you understand this, truly understand it, you will feel something uncomfortable rising in your chest, a tension, a resistance, because this knowledge threatens the version of yourself that has been surviving on approval. That version will not survive what comes next.
The most dangerous lies are the ones that feel noble.
Kindness is praised because it makes you manageable, predictable, easy to shape. Societies elevate it not because it produces strength, but because it produces compliance without force. Machiavelli saw this clearly. He understood that moral ideals are often engineered by those in power to stabilize those beneath them. When you are kind beyond necessity, you lower friction for everyone except yourself. Look at how hierarchy actually forms, not in speeches, not in stories, but in real interactions. Status does not rise from generosity alone. It rises from constraint, from the ability to grant or deny access, from selective warmth paired with the credible possibility of withdrawal. Unconditional kindness removes that leverage. In the animal world, grooming is not affection, it is negotiation. It reinforces alliances, but only among equals or near equals. No creature grooms endlessly without reciprocation. The moment reciprocity stops, grooming stops. Humans, however, are taught to continue, to be the bigger person, to let it go. This is not emotional maturity, it is status suicide. The human brain is wired to respect boundaries it cannot cross without consequence. When kindness flows freely, without test or price, it loses informational value. It stops signaling strength and starts signaling need. Neediness repels respect, always has. Machiavelli warned that those who seek to be loved without fear will be crushed between the two. Love without fear decays into familiarity. Familiarity breeds disregard. Disregard invites transgression. Fear, properly understood, is not terror, it is anticipation of cost. It is the quiet awareness that actions have consequences. When people know there is a line they cannot cross, their behavior sharpens, their tone changes, their respect becomes instinctive. Kindness without this underlying tension is noise, pleasant but ignorable. This is why overly kind leaders lose control. This is why generous individuals are drained dry. This is why the person who does everything for everyone is often the least valued. They remove all risk from exploiting them. And exploitation is not a moral failing in the exploiter. It is a structural outcome. When the system allows extraction without penalty, extraction becomes rational. You were taught to judge actions morally. Machiavelli judged outcomes. He understood that intentions do not protect you, structures do. If you never make people earn your goodwill, they will never respect it. If you never make withdrawal a possibility, presence becomes cheap. Scarcity creates value, not abundance. Notice how people treat what is always available. The friend who always answers, the worker who always says yes, the partner who always forgives. Availability erodes desire. It collapses power distance. And power distance, whether acknowledged or not, governs every relationship. This does not mean becoming cruel. Cruelty is reactive and sloppy. It reveals insecurity. The goal is not to harm. The goal is to condition behavior. Silence conditions. Absence conditions. Withholding conditions. Kindness, when used strategically, becomes devastatingly effective, but only when it is rare, only when it follows resistance, only when it feels earned rather than guaranteed. Most people never learn this. They equate boundaries with hostility. They confuse control with abuse, so they remain soft, open, and slowly consumed. Machiavelli would tell you that this softness is not innocence, it is ignorance, and ignorance has a cost. The moment you stop being endlessly kind, something strange happens. People test you, they push, they probe, not because they hate you, but because they are recalibrating. They are asking a silent question: where are the edges now? How you respond to that question determines everything. When kindness stops flowing freely, the world reveals its teeth. This is the phase most people never survive. They mistake resistance for failure. They interpret pushback as proof they were wrong. Machiavelli would tell you the opposite. Resistance is confirmation. It means the hierarchy is adjusting. The moment you introduce limits, people feel the loss of access, and loss triggers aggression before it triggers respect. This is biological. The brain reacts more strongly to losing a benefit than gaining one. When your kindness was unlimited, it was invisible. When it becomes conditional, it becomes valuable. So people react. They accuse you of changing, of becoming cold, of becoming selfish. This language is not moral, it is strategic. It is designed to pull you back into the old role, to restore the previous arrangement where you absorbed cost and others enjoyed comfort. This is the trap. If you retreat now, the lesson is permanent. You teach them that pressure works on you, that guilt is your weak point, that with enough emotional force, you will fold. Machiavelli warned against this collapse. He knew that power is not established by one action, but by consistency under stress. Anyone can set a boundary once. Very few can hold it when punished for it. Understand what is actually happening. You are not being rejected, you're being tested. Every social system runs on tests. Who can be interrupted? Who can be ignored? Who can be spoken over? Who must be negotiated with? These tests are constant and mostly unconscious. When you were endlessly kind, you failed them quietly. Now, by withdrawing, you force a recalibration, and recalibration is uncomfortable. This is where fear enters the equation. Not fear you display, but fear others feel when the rules change. Uncertainty is destabilizing. When people no longer know how far they can go with you, they become cautious. Caution looks like respect. Silence is one of the most powerful tools here. Not explanation, not justification, silence. When you stop over-explaining your boundaries, you imply authority. You imply that your decisions do not require consensus. Most people sabotage themselves by talking too much. They try to soften the blow, to reassure, to remain liked. In doing so, they leak power. They invite negotiation where none is needed. Machiavelli understood that mystery amplifies control. When your motives are opaque, people project. They imagine consequences. They behave more carefully. Transparency feels virtuous, but it disarms you. This is why predators speak less than prey. This is why leaders pause before responding. This is why those at the top are harder to read. Clarity is given downward. Ambiguity is maintained upward. Kindness that follows silence is far more potent than kindness that precedes it. Consider this inversion carefully. When you are kind first, you chase acceptance. When you withhold first, then grant kindness, you reward compliance. The same behavior produces opposite outcomes depending on sequence. Sequence is power. Machiavelli's warning was not against kindness itself, but as kindness as identity. When you build your self-worth on being good, you become hostage to others' reactions. You need their approval to validate your morality. That need is visible, and visibility is vulnerability. The strategist does not need to be seen as good, only effective. This does not mean becoming heartless. It means becoming precise, choosing when warmth is useful and when distance is necessary. Understanding that every interaction trains the people around you how to treat you. Most people train others to exploit them, then wonder why it happens. If you are feeling uneasy right now, that is correct. This knowledge is destabilizing because it removes comforting illusions. It demands that you see yourself not as a moral character in a story, but as a force moving through a hierarchy, and forces must be controlled. There is a moment when restraint becomes dominance. It happens quietly, no announcement, no confrontation. One day, people simply stop testing you as often. Their tone shifts, their requests soften, their expectations lower. This is not because you became harsher, it is because you became harder to move. Machiavelli would recognize this immediately. He knew that power stabilizes not when others like you, but when they adapt to you. Adaptation is the true signal of authority. It means your presence has altered their behavior. At this stage, kindness becomes surgical. You give it sparingly, precisely, never out of guilt, never to soothe tension you did not create. When you offer warmth now, it feels significant. It lands. People remember it because it follows distance, not desperation. This is the inversion most never achieve. They either stay soft forever or swing wildly into cruelty. Both are failures. Softness invites exploitation. Cruelty invites rebellion. The strategist operates between the two, unreadable, controlled. Machiavelli warned that being feared and loved is ideal, but if you must choose, fear is safer. Not because fear is stronger than love, but because love is conditional on emotion, and emotion is volatile. Fear, when rooted in consequence, is stable. Notice the distinction. This is not fear of violence, it is fear of loss. Loss of access, loss of approval, loss of opportunity, loss of position. These are the levers that shape behavior in modern hierarchies. People fear what they cannot afford to lose. When your kindness is no longer guaranteed, your presence becomes something to preserve. You are no longer taken for granted, you are negotiated with. That is the shift. This is also where weakness tries one last time to reclaim you. The voice in your head will whisper that you are becoming someone else, that you are betraying your values, that you are playing games. This voice is not morality, it is habit. It is the old conditioning resisting extinction. You were trained to equate discomfort with wrongdoing. Machiavelli rejected this. He understood that discomfort often signals growth in power, that internal resistance is the price of shedding a submissive identity. Power is not comfortable. It is quiet, isolating, heavy. This is why so few pursue it honestly. Once people sense that you are no longer easily manipulated by guilt, they try new tactics: flattery, moral pressure, victimhood. These are not random, they are adaptive strategies. Each one is a probe, searching for a crack. Do not react emotionally. Reaction feeds the probe. Observe, let silence do the work. Silence forces others to fill the void, and what they reveal in that space is invaluable. Machiavelli valued information above all else, and nothing extracts information like restraint. When you stop over-giving, you begin to see clearly who was aligned with you and who was feeding off you. Some will drift away. Let them. Their departure is data. Others will adjust and remain. Those are the ones who understand hierarchy and respect it. This is not about loneliness versus connection. It is about quality of alliance. Fewer, stronger, cleaner bonds outperform many weak ones. At this point, kindness becomes a tool of reward, not a default posture, and reward shapes loyalty far more effectively than sacrifice. You are no longer reacting to the world, you are conditioning it. This is where most listeners begin to realize something unsettling, that much of what they called being nice was fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being seen clearly. Machiavelli would tell you that fear belongs somewhere, but not inside you. Now you understand Machiavelli's real warning. Kindness was never the enemy. Unexamined kindness was. The danger was never compassion. It was offering it without structure, without leverage, without the willingness to withdraw it when it no longer served order. Most people remain trapped because they want to be seen as good more than they want to be effective. They build identities around moral signaling, then wonder why their lives feel small, why they are overlooked, why they are drained, why others decide their limits for them. Machiavelli would say they outsourced their power. You no longer need to do that. At this level, kindness becomes something rare and intentional. It follows alignment. It follows loyalty. It follows respect. When you give now, it strengthens bonds instead of weakening your position. It creates gratitude instead of entitlement, because it is no longer free. This is the final inversion, the one that separates those who understand power from those who only speak about it. You stop trying to convince others of your goodness. You let your restraint speak. You let your absence educate. You let your presence feel earned. People adapt to you not because you demand it, but because the alternative is loss. This is how order is created without force. This is why Machiavelli's insights endure. He did not write for the innocent. He wrote for those willing to see humanity as it is, not as it wishes to be: competitive, hierarchical, reactive to incentives. Once you accept this, your behavior changes naturally. You stop over-explaining. You stop rescuing people from the consequences of their choices. You stop offering warmth to those who undermine you. You stop mistaking discomfort for danger. You become calm where others become emotional, measured where others overextend, silent where others plead. And something subtle happens inside you. The need to be liked fades. In its place grows something steadier, authority, not loud, not aggressive, but unmistakable. Those who sense it treat you differently. They speak carefully, they listen, they adjust. Those who don't drift away, confused, searching for someone softer. Let them. You were never meant to be accessible to everyone. Power requires selectivity. Clarity requires exclusion. Control requires the courage to disappoint. Kindness used correctly becomes a weapon of alignment. Used incorrectly, it is a leash others hold. Machiavelli's warning was simple but brutal. The world does not reward goodness, it rewards structure, and structure is built by those willing to be misunderstood in the short term, to remain unchallenged in the long term. If this perspective sharpened something in you, if it stripped away a comforting illusion and replaced it with clarity, then you already know what comes next. This is not content for the masses. This is for those who prefer awareness over approval, control over comfort, and truth over reassurance. Join those who think this way, those who refine their edge instead of dulling it, those who understand that power begins in perception and is maintained through discipline. Subscribe and step inside the circle.